In this video, we'll write the Lewis structure for BrI5. This is bromine pentaiodide. And rather than me just writing the whole thing out in this video, I've already done it. Let's just talk about that. There's a lot of electrons here to write out. So for BrI5, the first thing for Lewis structures, we count the valence electrons. So bromine and iodine, both in group 17. So 7 valence electrons. 7 plus 7 times 5. That gives us 7 plus 35. 42 total valence electrons for the BrI5 Lewis structure. So we've placed 2 between atoms here. These lines represent 2 electrons. That forms the chemical bond. So we've formed 5 chemical bonds. That's okay. Then we completed the octets on each of the bromine. The problem was, after we did that, we still had 2 extra valence electrons. We put those right here on the iodine. So this central iodine here, it can have more than 8 valence electrons. It can have an expanded octet. And if we check the formal charges to see if this is the best or most favorable Lewis structure, we'll find the formal charges on each atom to be 0. So this is a very good or very likely Lewis structure. Let's take a look at the molecular geometry briefly. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 atoms and then 1 lone pair. So let's add those 5 iodine atoms. The central atom, the purple, that'll be our bromine. 1, 2, and you can see they spread out to be as far away as they can from each other. 3, 4, 5. So this is the molecular geometry right now, but we need to add that lone pair in there. So let's put our lone pair in. That pushes everything away, and we end up with this square pyramidal molecular geometry. You can see the bond angles here. For the electron geometry, we need to take into account the lone pair here on the top. That gives us an octahedral electron geometry. But the molecular geometry, that's square pyramidal. Let's go back to our Lewis structure. If we use the AXE notation to figure out the molecular geometry, A, that's the central atom, the iodine. X, that's the number of atoms attached. We have 5 bromine atoms. In E, that would be the number of lone pairs. We just have this one lone pair here. We'd have AX5E1. If you look that up, that would be square pyramidal for the molecular geometry. This is Dr. B with the Lewis structure, molecular geometry, and bond angles for BrI5. Thanks for watching.